Transcending history and the world, a tale of souls and swords, eternally retold.
Growing up, I didn't have nearly as much of a connection to Soul Calibur as others have. My first experience with Soul Calibur was in a small pizza place in my hometown called Happy Joe's. Back in their original location, they had a very, very small arcade. Not much going on in there. They had games like Buzzy Buzzy Bee, Goin' Bananas, Skee Ball, and of course, Soul Calibur 2.
Win battle, fight!
I didn't get to go to Happy Joe's that often. Most of the time it was only for special occasions or because my mom didn't feel like cooking that night. They had a special little area where kids could walk up a few steps and peek in a window to watch the pizza makers would make the pizzas. We'd watch them spin the dough in the air, throw the sauce, cheese, and toppings on, and it was a magical experience for us kids growing up. Of course, being the nerdy kid that I was, I would ask my parents if I could play in the arcade. Sometimes I'd get the okay and get a few dollars to exchange for tokens. Other times I was told no. We weren't really well off growing up. Sometimes money was just too tight. But as kids of the 80s and 90s know, when you had the chance to play in the arcade, you had to make it count. Now in my little town, we didn't have any actual arcades. Happy Joe's was the closest we ever got. And it didn't have much of a selection, as I mentioned previously. I can remember going into the arcade, walking around the small, very small, square room, trying so hard to decide, what game do I play today? Should I try some skee ball and win some tickets? And that's when I heard it. The most iconic sound to my childhood. Blaring from the arcade cabinet speakers.
Transcending history and the world, a tale of souls and swords, eternally retold.
I was enthralled. I walked up to the arcade cabinet, put my tokens in, chose Cassandra because she reminded me of Link, and proceeded to lose my tokens very quickly. I was not good at Soul Calibur at all. I was just a child, 6 or 7 years old probably, and I barely knew how to play an arcade game, let alone a fighting game. But that didn't stop me. I had a great time. And I can remember one time me, my mom, and her coworker all went out to Happy Joe's one night, and my mom's coworker decided she wanted to play Soul Calibur 2 with me. As soon as she saw Ivy, the words, "Wow! Her boobs are almost hanging out! How does she fight like that?" blurted out of her mouth. My mom and I lost it laughing. It's still a memory I think of whenever I play Soul Calibur 2. A few years later, Happy Joe's relocated across town. They had a new arcade and a bigger arcade in their new location. I was so excited to go and play Soul Calibur again, only to walk in and be sorely disappointed. They had gotten rid of Soul Calibur, and I never thought I'd be able to play one of my favorite games again. That is, until a very fateful day. My mom and I were out at garage sales, and it was a weekly thing for us to do during the summer. And that's where I saw it. Soul Calibur 2 for the Nintendo GameCube. I looked at my mom and told her I needed to have it.
"Don't you remember me playing this game at Happy Joe's? And look, Mom, Link is on the cover."
My 8-year-old brain lost it. And I went home that day with Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. Even back then, I was never any good at the game. I was finally able to get through the arcade mode and beat Inferno, and I refused to play as any character other than Link. I don't think I played it much with my friends back then. I might have, but it's so hard to remember. Eventually, I somehow lost my copy of Soul Calibur 2. I don't know if I traded it in or I lost it somehow during my youth. However, all was not lost for my Soul Calibur loving soul. At yet another garage sale, I saw it. Soul Calibur 2 for the Xbox.
"Mom, it's Soul Calibur on Xbox!"
We took it home that day. Soul Calibur 2 on Xbox just felt so different to me. It was hard playing it with the old OG Duke controller, And I remember Spawn scaring me as a kid, and I refused to play as him. Even looking at him on the character select screen gave me creeps. But I still played it, and I enjoyed the game, just as I did on the GameCube. Eventually, my OG Xbox finally died. I had already learned Soul Calibur 2 was on PlayStation 2 as well, but I grew out of that phase by that point. I was on a Soul Calibur 3 on PS2 by that point. I had my fix, and I didn't need an inferior version to Soul Calibur 3. Throughout the years, I forgot all about Soul Calibur 2. Games came and went, more Soul Caliburs released. Vader and Yoda were guest characters in Soul Calibur 4. What else could I ask for? That blew my mind as a teen. Soul Calibur 2 at that point was just a distant memory. Then, in 2013, the announcement came of the return of Soul Calibur 2. It was coming back in HD, and online play was coming with it. It was at this point I got excited over Soul Calibur 2 again. I was a year out of high school at that point, working a minimum wage job and going to college. I saved up my money, and when the time came, I grabbed it. Soul Calibur 2 HD Online felt like a brand new game to me. I never had the PS2 version, so I finally got to play as Heihachi for the first time. And even though GameCube's exclusive guest character Link was missing from the roster, I still had a blast. I never played it online, my internet was too poor for it back then. But I still had a great time trying to beat Weapon Master and running through the arcade mode with every character. Flash forward to earlier this year, and the big Switch 2 Direct arrived, and the biggest news ever, GameCube games were coming to Nintendo Classics. The internet broke. Soul Calibur 2. The GameCube version was making a return. I screamed, I cried, I jumped for joy. I waited a few more months, and the day finally came for me to wait outside GameStop all day to nab a Switch 2. Sunburnt, tired, and ready to go to bed, I drove an hour home with my brand new Switch 2. I didn't fire up Mario Kart World right away. Oh no. I downloaded the GameCube Nintendo Classic Collection and fired up Soul Calibur 2. Immediately, the flood of nostalgia hit. Maybe it was the sleep deprivation from not being able to sleep the night before. Maybe it was the fact I was sunburnt so horribly after sitting outside without sunscreen like an idiot. But tears ran down my face, and they burned. Really, really bad. My best friend came over at 3 in the morning, just before he went to work, just to check out the Switch 2 and saw me playing Soul Calibur 2, and what did he say to me? Shut that off, we're playing Mario Kart World. Jackass. Every moment I could, I would play Soul Calibur 2. I decided at that moment, I'm going to do what I've never done before. I'm going to 100% this game for the first time in my life. I grinded the levels in Weapon Master mode, bought every single weapon and costume, and finally, after about a week or two, for the first time in my life, I got 100% completion in Soul Calibur 2, and I was happy. A few months later, I finally got an Xbox again, and what was the first games I downloaded? That's right, Killer Instinct, and Soul Calibur 2 HD Online. Throughout the past few weeks and the footage you're seeing in this video, I played through Weapon Master mode again, this time in HD, enjoying every second yet again, until finally, I reached 100% completion yet again. I still have a few more achievements left in the Xbox version before I can really claim I have 100% completion, however, but hopefully soon I can get those. Soul Calibur 2 carries the spirit of the arcade era, a time when games weren't just played, they were felt. When stepping up to the cabinet meant facing the unknown, a friend, a rival, or perhaps someone you'd never meet again, all united by the glow of the screen and the rhythm of clashing blades. But what makes Soul Calibur 2 truly timeless is how that spirit followed us home. With console-exclusive characters, we turned living rooms into miniature arcades. Friends gathered on worn couches, controllers got tangled, victory cries echoed late into the night. Nostalgia isn't about wishing we could go back there. It's the quiet realization that those fleeting moments in crowded arcades or living rooms full of laughter shaped why we love games the way we do today. And while arcades may be going away for the most part, we'll always have the memories of the good times. Hey everybody, I just wanted to come here at the end of the video and say thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. All the fun stuff everybody always says at the end of these videos. And let me know down in the comments below, what kind of memories do you have with Soul Calibur 2? Do you have good memories, bad memories, arcade memories, home console memories? I want to hear it all. And I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. I've been wanting to do another Nostalgia Glasses Memories video for a long time, and finally stars aligned, and I finally figured out what I wanted to do. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.